So come takes invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professional development for today's items only. The investment you're going to talk today will be them taking ditch. First, I want to say happy Thursday, everybody. Have a great week so far. With respect to the recording time of 4:12 p.m. on Eastern Time, Ethereum coin trade $4,738, up about 2.3% so far. On the overall crypto market, I would say it's relatively green today, beside Bitcoin and Cardano, which are just both normalizing, down about 0.16% for Bitcoin, and Cardano's down about 0.66% at the moment right now. And in respect to the anti-correlation effects that we're seeing prominently in comparisons to the equity side, seems like on the equity side, we have more of a normalization in comparisons to the subsequent down days that we've seen yesterday and the day before from the foreshadow or the anticipated pressure from the CPI report that came out yesterday, right? And obviously, as we know from all media front, the report was record-breaking number, 6.2% of inflationary pressure to the market. And when that happens, obviously, from both the anticipated pressure that we've had on Tuesday and also with the sell day that we've also on a Wednesday, subsequently drive some normalization to like earlier today, that subsequently allow and incentivize people to be buying into equity market from like basically 9:30 a.m. all the way to noon time. And as that happens, hedge fund community and also the public investors community start to normalize from the initial surge that we've had, and that subsequently translate into more of a reversal on the equity side, and then from that relationship it anti-correlates with the crypto side, which is also the reason why it's translating a buying pressure on the crypto right now. In respect to Bitcoin, why is it kind of down right now? It's because of lack of positive news today. It's just there's a lot of juxtaposition news that's comparing Bitcoin with Ethereum, and I'll go through that one by one in a chronological order from here. So on the news front, with respect to CoinDesk, about 1 hour ago, talked about Discord shutter plans for Ethereum integrations after community backlash. So with respect to Citron, right, they've been talking about this Discord integration with Ethereum for quite some time now. It seems like on the forum front, on the community side of the house, there is some backlash about what is the plan, right? What is the proposition? What's the timeline going forward? And they have never really fully established on anything confirmatory yet. And I guess people are starting to sense some frustration with respect to the lack of technicalness that Citron is proposing. So it seems like they're stepping up. They're going to initialize some sort of a strategic plan going forward with the allocated timeline, with the specific proposition as well, giving investors and people in the community a little bit more confidence, which is important. The next one's on Bazinga about 1 hour ago, talk about why this rare crypto punk NFT just sold for $1.2 million in ETF. So the article is quite interesting. It's a lot of speculations about how it got to be appraised to $1.2 million. What has been the market dynamics looking like so far? What do we see in terms of supply demand dynamics going forward as well? So it's kind of a persuasive essay, which is quite interesting coming from a journalist. But interesting to read, and they did sell for $1.2 million for this picture of I don't know, it's a woman or a man with gray hair and looks like a lawyer or some sort, a British lawyer, obviously. I don't know, with the wigs on back in it. Anyways, I don't want to butcher the art or the creativity of this art piece. So next one's on Market Watch about 2 hours ago. Talk about some hedge funds are seeing Ether as an inflation hedge, which makes sense, right? Because of the anti-correlation effects from the equity side versus the US dollar depreciation dynamics as well, that subsequently translate into buying pressure. And this is something that we've seen historically. It's not the first time we know this. And this is just some hedge fund people are, saying what they think, and I can agree with that, and this is the activity we've been seeing so far based on our collective observation. The next one's on Decrypt 4 hours ago, talk about Sotheby's, which is an auction house in the US, to accept live Ethereum bids for Banksy's auctions. So, quite interesting. It seems like they are integrating crypto into the infrastructure. So is Christie's, which I've actually spoken with one of the executives at the auction house recently, and they are doing this to capture the global adoptions and utilizations for the market. Right, there are a lot of wealthy individuals that hold cryptocurrencies at the moment. So when they are bidding for it, this is just another payment solution, if you may, in a transactional perspective. And the next one is talk about Decrypt 4 hours ago. Talk about Ethereum wallet Mu get into NFT by tokenizing historical ETF blocks. More interesting NFT related news around Ethereum proposition. And then next one is talking about with respect to Bitcoin is 4 hours ago. Talk about Ethereum fee spikes significantly following succession on ENS. Something we've seen with respect to the airdrops, right? And with the release of the airdrops, the fees obviously spike in a correlation effect. So nothing really surprising there, I would say. And the next one on Bazinga, again, 5 hours ago. It's the Citadel head, Ken Griffin, he says that Bitcoin will be replaced by Ethereum and the next generation of cryptocurrencies. I guess so. I mean, he's an investor, with some reputation, and I think people listen to him. People do find his verbiage or his preference or his depictions to be something substantive, right? But ultimately, is Ken Griffin really a crypto assets investor? With this technology still being relatively early, I mean, I appreciate his point of view about Ethereum being a better asset compared to Bitcoin because of the utilization, because of the growth potential. So all great news, anyways. Nothing against him, but just there are a lot of reputable people that are saying this as well, right? We also heard from Warren Buffett and some other, even like from the Feds, right? Like Gary Gensler or Jerome Powell, or like Janet Yellen has even spoken something about this in the past. I mean, are they really subject matter experts in their respective space? And with respect to this like relatively growing technology as well, interesting again, but I guess like we just read it with a grain of salt in more of an informative perspective rather than actually taking this more of an actual persuasive type of understanding, if you may. And then next one is talk about Bazinga, talk about Starbucks to allow their customers potentially in the future to utilize Bitcoin and Ethereum as a form of payment. So this is the first time I've heard from a relatively reputable consumer retail franchise like Starbucks to be allowing transactions to be stemmed based on Bitcoin and Ethereum. It seems like this is something that in addition to Burger King, which they are exploring, it seems like Starbucks is also exploring as well. So this is all good cultivations, I would say, in the collective news perspective. So I would say in the news front, that's pretty much on that overall today in the last, I would say, 6 hours ever since my first posting. And respect to the news on the technical front, let's just dive right into it, shall we? So you can see that Bitcoin right now is up about 0.13%. Ethereum's down up about 2.6%. And Ethereum right now is currently being sustained, and you can see that we are slowly fusing together. Obviously, we're still overbought on a 66 out of 70. So I would just probably hold it again and wait for it to cool off a little bit. We've been running really hot for like 45, 46 days so far. So it doesn't quite make sense for us to like incur additional risk at the moment. So just hold and watch the movie going forward, right? Respect to Bitcoin, it is doing something comparable. We tried to get to the 70K, but we couldn't, and we're selling back down to 65 right now. We are forming a death cross all over again. We are at 60 out of 70, so ideally just wait and cool off a little bit as well. And ideally wait for it to come back in consolidation at least 58. If we break below 60, at least 55, and at least 47, depending on your risk aversion levels, obviously, right? Dogecoin is currently in the bearish state right now. We are at the 50 out of 70. So ideally buy somewhere around like the below 23 to the 20 cents level would be much more logical. Cardano right now is $2.08. So we could see that we clearly did not break above, could not sustain the 210 level. So we're still selling off, right? You could see that clearly. That was the candle that we sold off from. We could not get to 220. We could not get to 230. We got to 230-ish for like a brief time, but immediately most people sold off. So still very bearish overall. I would say coming back down until we get to the somewhere around like the, if we break up, I think right now it's not a bad level to buy because we're not like crazy oversold or crazy overbought either. But I think maybe wait until we get closer to the $2 mark, or around 187 to $2 would be much more logical from here. Solana is right now forming a dev cross, so that means we're selling back down to ideally coming back to somewhere around the 191 first. We'll kind of hover around there for a little bit. If we break that, we're going to go to 143 or 131, which is the level that I personally would be buying, and 113 respectively. XRP right now is at 122, so right now we are selling back down. So I think ideally wait for it to come back down, knowing the fact that we're still kind of overbought right now, to 101. Like 110 would be much more logical. Like anywhere from 110 to like 101 would be much more logical for a $2 cost average. So I'll kind of wait off for XRP at the moment. Polkadot right now is up around 6%. We are forming a dev cross still. So right now it's mainly coming from public investors. And the level that we're at right now is really non-substantive. So I think this is just mainly coming from public, like again, retail investors. So the supply and demand dynamics is not favorable for us right now. So I'll wait until we come back down to 42. I'll wait for it to come back down to 33. And like 25 to 30 cents, $25 to $30 is still the level I would ideally dollar cost average at. Algorand right now we broke $2. You could see that we are way below it. Not way below, just a hair below it. And I think ideally right now it's not a bad level. We're just basically consolidating with the 60 out of 70. So ideally wait for it to cool back down maybe if you want to practice patient a little bit to the 183 at bare minimum. But I think for me I'll just wait until like 160 to 152 to be more specific for myself. Shiba Inu right now is just struggling to stay above, up 9% right now, but that's mainly coming from public investors because of the level of consolidation that we had briefly on the 26th of October. So if we break this level, we have a long way to go, so I probably would just wait until we have 2809 or the 900 level for Shiba Inu respectively. At respective risk management level, these are the levels that that I personally would be more comfortable incurring risk from. It's just my conservatism, as we deplete the RSI back to below 35, as we deplete to a preliminary golden cross. And that's how I think patience is something that you need to practice a little bit. It's never an expiration date in terms of when you invest. It's all about like incurring risk logically. And right now is I think across the board is nothing is really like jumping off the page that's truly attractive for me at the moment. So I'll just hold and watch the account like hover and like consolidate, and it can get a little volatile sometimes, but just know that long-term division is going to be way higher than where we're at right now, right? So hopefully this is helpful. Really appreciate you for dropping by again, and stay tuned for the cup. Take care. Bye.